Very good morning to you and welcome back as we continue with our broadcast at the Walter Sisulu Freedom Square. Now, the Department of Arts and Culture has always been one of those major supporters of the Gcwala Ngamasiko Festival, and this year hasn't been any different really. And to tell us more now, we're joined by the Minister of Small Business Development, Mama Lindiwe Zulu. Good morning to you, Minister.
Good morning, Nonzuzo, and good morning to the viewers at home.
Well, Africa Month has now come to an end. Would you say that you are happy with the planning and the outcomes?
Yes, absolutely. We're very happy because the entire country has been celebrating. All provinces have been celebrating. Basically, we've been showcasing what Africa is about through the eyes of South Africa. We've had poetry ongoing. We have discussions on the economy of the continent. We had discussions about filming, about fashion. We just had discussions about all facets of life of South Africans and the African continent.
How important is it to support and have events such as the Gcwala Ngamasiko Festival?
Gcwala Ngamasiko, we should thank Gcwala Ngamasiko in the first place for having carried this process for many, many years. We should thank them for bringing together the life of Africa into our space as South Africa. But also what is important for us is about the education that has been going on in schools, in colleges, and the discussions that have been going on about Africa as a continent. Remember that South Africa is relatively being brought new to the African continent. We were the last to be liberated, and the past South Africa was completely almost shut out of the entire continent. It's only those that were out in exile like myself who managed to even see what the continent, the whole continent looks like. The majority of South Africans have not yet explored the entire continent. So these are the opportunities to make sure that we place ourselves within the continent, because we are in Africa and we are Africans.
I would imagine that when handling an international event such as this one, that there's a process when inviting other countries. What is that process?
It's a process that is done government to government, but also some other organizations that connect to the entire continent would do that. So South Africa would invite, through the government, would invite cultural ensembles, which I think you're going to be seeing here. Last year I was here. I enjoyed seeing cultural ensembles from Burundi and so forth. So I think that usually government would send invitations, and then the people of the whichever country is being invited will then come through to South Africa.
Okay. How have you seen the event grow over the years?
The event started very small. That's why I'm saying we need to thank Gcwala Ngamasiko as well as the Department of Arts and Culture for putting every effort into it. And by the way, they don't only just do it as the Department of Arts and Culture alone, they make sure that all departments are conscious of the fact that the entire month is the month of celebrating Africa. They connect also to the African Union, which is the bigger body that deals with political, economic, and social issues relating to the continent. But I also would like to say that this is the time for us as South Africans and as Africans overall to begin to look at ourselves and see how we can improve the economic status of Africans in general, to improve our cultures, but to connect and make sure that there's peace, security, and stability in the continent, because without peace, security, and stability, there can never be any growth. Other people talk about Africa being the next best thing. The issue here is, as Africans, can we see that Africa is the next best thing, and what are we going to do about it? Ultimately, it's about democracy in the continent, it's about governance in the continent, it's about human rights and respect for human rights for all Africans.